Do I?
Yeah. You can start.
Nice. So the way that I got involved with evidence-based policing in the Netherlands was via the Justice Department and my former tutor. So they both work together in the evidence-based policing program of the NSCR. So that's a research institute, and I got involved regarding a project they were doing there, and we spoke about initiating a society in the Netherlands, as like in Australia and New Zealand and the UK, Canada and America. So we did it. Short enough.
I think I got recruited by by Ruben. I've been a researcher for more than 20 years in the Amsterdam police force, and I've always been passionate about combining science and the police practice. So being a part of evidence-based policing is like being with like-minded people, and so I was directly enthusiastic about joining the society and starting the society. So that's how we started. So, like we said, we just started 2 years ago with a group of people. I think about 8 people who were enthusiastic about starting a society. So we 2 years ago we decided we're going to start a society of evidence-based policing. And at this moment, we have a group of 4 people, Ruben and I, and Mieke Struik and Anne Mooi, who are also very active in arranging things and thinking about things to organize and everything. And around it, we have a group of like 8 people who are supporting us. And we don't have formal members in the society, but we have a lot of people who are following us and attending our lectures. And yeah, so we don't really have a formal society with members yet, but a lot of people who are involved in, yeah.
All right, thanks, Mark. I guess it starts with always have had an interest in how we can support our activity in policing with evidence, and that goes back to my early times, university education, and the fact, I've been in policing now 29 years, and the opportunity to work in all facets of the administration of it, the value of making sure that we base the decisions we're making in evidence always drew me in. When it started here, of course, the youngest of all the societies in 2015, 2016, the folks that were at the forefront of that asked me to get involved because of my role both in policing, but also my academic endeavors. So initially it was one of support, got more and more involved because you could see the value of the work, and whether that's working with NHA in the United States or with you folks down under, and with the folks in England, what we knew that across across the space of EBP, it is one of those tools that we haven't yet really been able to incorporate to its optimal effect. And it gave me an opportunity to say, hey, how do I get more involved? And so the society, as it has gone through some evolution and changing, of being driven initially by academics, then a real mix of pra-academics and more individuals that are coming from the services. What I was able to do is sort of use my background to put a bit more structure and support so that we can start sort of targeting our efforts and maturing like, quite frankly, like the other societies have in the US and everywhere else.
So I was very fortunate to come across a bit of money with a grant that was given to me, and how I came across that is a story in itself, which we can dig into. But I went in 2006 to Cambridge University to do a master's in policing, and in the second year, a new guy came who's called Lawrence Sherman, and he started teaching me some stuff. and my overwhelming sense of why as a senior leader did I not know this already? And then the next thing that I thought was, and what am I going to do about it? Because it became so obvious to me that we in policing need to change, and that if we're going to have real integrity around cause and effect, if we're going to lay claim to things, and if we want to make a real difference, being evidence-based really helps. So the penny drop moment was there, and then I was just thinking, okay, so what are we going to do? How do I tell other people about this? And I remember having a chat with Larry at Coventry Cathedral and Heather, his partner, and saying, look, I'm thinking about starting a group, perhaps calling it the Society of Evidence-Based Policing, which really tries to get police officers and police staff to think in an evidence-based way. And it's sort of gone from there, really, Mark.
So 10 years ago, I saw a flyer advertising an evidence-based policing conference at the Australian Institute of Police Management in Manly. And it said something like, do you want to know what works? Do you want to share knowledge across policing? Do you want to advance your knowledge around testing police strategies for their effectiveness? I've gone, hell yeah, that sounds really good. So that was the hook. It was just one of those things that happen in life that passes your desk and you think, I want to have a go at that. And I went to that conference. It was the first one they held at Manly. It was probably 40 people or something like that. And the more I heard, the more I was interested. So it sort of ticked something off in me. And ever since then, I've wanted to know more and build my knowledge. I do have times where I think, why do I take on all this extra discretionary effort? But it's definitely worth it because there's some great work going on in policing, and I love the contagious nature of sharing great initiatives that are led by the front line. A lot of this doesn't come from strategies. It comes from initiatives by police who have great insights into crime and new ways in how they may solve them. And that's the bit that I love because that's what's going to take policing forward. Police and their ability to adapt to new crime issues. So that was sort of the hook that got me in, and I've been involved ever since with the society, and it's a great group of people from most states across the country who have, I think, very similar ideals and objectives as me. And
yeah, so thanks for having me. So I've been here at Las Vegas now for 2 years as the chief. So I oversee our city jail, and I also have our deputy city marshals and our animal protection. So we have about 420 employees, about $100 million budgets. It's a pretty big platform. I'm honored to be here leading these courageous men and women. How did I get involved in evidence-based policing and evidence-based decision-making? What I like to say is really started in 2015, was introduced to the National Institute of Justice LEAD Scholar Program, and LEAD stands for Law Enforcement Advancing Data and Science. And I'll say, led by Maureen McGaugh, I think it really changed policing, at least in America. We have a group of practitioners and pracademics that are really involved in the evidence-based decision-making movement, if you will, and really trying to inject this type of decision-making into their organizations. And it's been widely successful and done pretty well for our country here in the U.S. So then I got involved in that, and then really just joined the American Society of Evidence-Based Policing. A lot of us are NIJ LEADS alum or graduates, and some of us have gone to Cambridge University. I went to the University of California, Irvine, and did study body cameras back when they first started, and that's how I got selected for the program. And always been a curious sort of how things are, and always kind of looked at why things work and why they don't, and constantly just asking questions, as Lawrence Sherman likes to say, target, test, and track, and said that random patrol, rapid response, and reactive investigations, which is the traditional model of policing. And I think if we can start to think that way and really figure out why things work, and as Jim Bierman, a mentor and friend of mine, likes to say, let's tinker to build better mousetraps. I think that's a good way of looking at how we should think about policing and how we should think about the world. This make things better for our men and women.